Good evening. I now call the March 1st, 2022 regular meeting of the City Council to order. Tonight we have Pastor B.J. Donahue from Erlanger Baptist here. Thank you so much for being here. He's for our invocation.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm grateful. I was thinking today, Erlanger Baptist has been a part of this community for a very long time, 1890. And as a member of this community, our desire is to bless and to be an impact in our community and to be someone who's a partner in that. And I don't know if you guys are aware, we have had a scholarship in the past, and I just want to announce again that we are doing a scholarship for Lord Memorial graduates, the two $1,000 scholarships that we're going to be offering. We want to be a blessing in our community, and we know that prices on all kinds of things are going up and being a challenge, and so we're doing that. I'm a father who has a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, and an 18-year-old, and so I know what college is like and facing all of that stuff, and so that's something that we desire to do. And I was driving this morning, and I listened to the radio, and one of the things that someone mentioned, there was a quote, and I thought it was really good, and I want to share it with you guys, and that was, our goal in life shouldn't be to make a point, but to make a difference. And a lot of times we can get on soapboxes and we can fight for points instead of making a difference in people's lives. And Proverbs 3 says this. It says, "Do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, so that you will find favor and good repute in the sight of God and man. So trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes, but fear the Lord and turn away from evil." As I think about the role that each of you has on this council to serve this community, I know that there are many of you that desire to do just that, to make an impact and to make a difference in this community. And I'm grateful for that because it's a sacrifice and it's a service to this community. And so I thank you for the way that you put this city and its citizens as a priority in your lives. And so I just want to bless you guys by praying over you in this meeting as we gather together. Would you pray with me? Father, I thank you for this place that we call home, for the community that you have given us here, for the leaders that you have instilled in these positions for such a time as this, for the opportunity that each one of them has and each one of us has to play a role in making an impact for the good in this community. Lord, there are decisions and directions that have to be made and have to be followed. There are differences of opinion in how to get to that great place where we see ourselves as the greatest city in this state. And as we try to figure that out together, I pray that you would allow kindness and mercy and grace to be those things which define how we conduct ourselves, that we would be people that would work together for the sake of unity, for the betterment of this community. Or there are definite needs that are facing this community, challenges that are facing this community. And I pray over these leaders wisdom and discernment to lead well. I thank you that you've put each one on this council. And I pray that through them, you would move this city and this community forward. Thank you that we have been able to be a partner in that as Erlanger Baptist. I thank you for the opportunity we have to come hand in hand, loving this community and serving it for what it needs. Thank you for Jesus Christ, most of all, that we as a church certainly proclaim, because we know our hope is in him. In his name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Now please rise for the pledge. Mrs. Hoffman, if you can please take roll.
Ms. Elmore? Present. Mr. Cahill?
Present.
Ms. Kyle?
Present.
Mr. Skidmore?
Here.
Mr. Hermes,
Here.
Mr. Doan,
Present.
Mr. Meyer, Ms. Skidmore, Ms. Nicely,
Present.
Mr. Nipper,
Present.
Ms. Reckers,
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas.
Here.
Thank you. Now, you've received a copy of the minutes for the February 1st, 2022 regular council meeting and the February 23rd, 2022 special council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Ms. Reckers, Mr. Doan, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. You've also received a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Mrs.
Hang on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ms. Reckers has something, I think.
Ms. Reckers?
Sorry. I've had a few folks reach out to me with regard to some procedural changes that are recommended for the procedures for meetings. It would result in substantive change, so I'd like to have it removed and put on the caucus agenda. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Ms. Kyle? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. So we'll go ahead and take number 6 off of the legislation, and we'll move that onto our caucus meeting. All right, are there any other changes to be made tonight? Okay, seeing none, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Ms. Kyle and Mrs. Elmore? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, tonight we have a couple of special presentations. I'm going to change the order just slightly. We're going to do the oath of office ceremony first, because I know a lot of you guys are here for that, and I don't want to keep you waiting.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Perfect segue, Pastor, of service. It's what the fire service is all about. It's what we do. It's about public safety and service to the community. And tonight is one of the parts of the job that I enjoy most, which is entering or starting and welcoming new members into the career of the fire service, the greatest job in the world. Tonight we will be swearing in 4 members. I'll give a brief bio. The mayor will do the swearing in. I will do the honorary badging, which is going to be called a handing tonight. We're going to put the COVID stamp on the uniform delivery. They don't have their Class A dress uniforms available. So I want to start tonight with Kiana Sherman. You can stand right up here in front of everybody. This is Kiana, everybody. She was born in Houston, Texas, but raised in Burlington. Graduated Cooper High School, obtained an associate's degree and a paramedic license through Gateway Community College. Upon graduating paramedic school in December of 2019, she was appointed Gallatin County EMS until she came to join us. There's a story about her, though, because we interviewed her what seems decades ago. Back before she had any hours, she was just interested in the fire service, and upon a recommendation, we thought it would be good experience for her to interview. It's always good, good practice, and she wowed us then. And what was amazing is she did everything that we suggested she do. And following those lines, that guidance, she's here tonight. So I'm very proud and very honored that she is joining us. In her spare time, she likes to hike at Red River Gorge. And she has a massive family here. She didn't give me any names, so I think like 95% of the people here tonight are in her group. So if you would please just welcome Kiana. Erica Mensch. If anybody knows the fire service in northern Kentucky, you likely have heard the name Mensch. She comes from a very long line of firefighting family. Her grandpa, dad, uncles. I did learn something. I did not know her mom was an EMT at one. So a strong family there. Erica started her career in the fire service probably from birth, but actually and realistically, 2011, she started at Southgate as a junior firefighter. She graduated from Newport Central Catholic, then Gateway for her EMT and paramedic certificates. She interned with Point Pleasant, started full-time with Campbell County District 1 until she came to join us. Outside of work, she loved to spend time with her family, which is huge, which probably takes all of her time, friends and family, and travel. She wants to thank personally her dad, Eric, her mom, Penny, that are here tonight, and her twin sister, Amber, that couldn't be here tonight, for all their love and support. And it takes a lot of love and support to get into our business, because you don't simply get hired and go in then start earning the certificates. All of that has to be earned up front. And there's a lot of work and time and effort that goes into that. And if you don't have the support of your loved ones, you'll never get to this point. So a lot of work. She wanted to thank her family for that. So let's please welcome Erica Mensch. Ryan Fogel, come on up. Ryan grew up in northern Kentucky, graduated from Conner High School in 2004. After high school, he attended Georgetown College on a football scholarship. It's where he met his wife, Jen, who's here tonight, and they married in 2016. They have 3 children, which are also here tonight: Knox 5, Remington 3, and Palmer 1. Ryan graduated from Scarlet Oaks Fire and EMS Academy in 2017 and completed the Cincinnati Fire Department paramedic program in the summer of 2020. Ryan is a fan of Tyler Childers' music, and I know I'm going to mess this blues guy up. I've heard of him, but I can't say his last name. Yeah, Bonamassa. I would have come up with that one. And I'm not going to let him know what you thought of Celine Dion, because I want you to just not get picked on at work. He's a big fan. He says he's an avid golfer, but I have no idea when you have time with a 5'3" and a 1-year-old. But kudos to you for effort. So please, let's welcome Ryan. Jeremy Doherty. Jeremy's from Independence, graduated from Simon Kenton High School. Following graduation, Jeremy served 5 years in the United States Marine Corps, serving as an embassy security guard, predominantly at the Marine Security Augmentation Unit, stationed at Quantico, Virginia. Did you get to meet the CSI guys? Man, I gotta ask. Every time I hear Quantico, I think about that. Following the Marine Corps, Jeremy attended Cincinnati State Fire Program in pursuit of becoming a fireman. Prior to his new position with Erlanger Fire Department, he volunteered at Edgewood, and he became a part-time fireman at Deerfield Township and Cheviot Fire Departments. He's joined tonight by his girlfriend, Kayla, his mother, Teresa, and his father, Rick, who is well known in the region for being a firefighter with the city of Fort Thomas. It does run in our blood. Please, let's welcome Jeremy. Mayor, if you would like to do the swearing in. Those folks that are holding the Bible for everyone, please come on up. Left hand on Bible. There you go.
All right, you guys ready? I, Kiana Sherman, Erica Mensch, Ryan Fogel, and Jeremy Daugherty do solemnly swear to do my duty as a firefighter paramedic for the city of Erlanger to the best of my ability, to serve my commanding officers with respect and dignity, to serve the citizens of the city of Erlanger with compassion, courage, and integrity, and to uphold the laws and constitutions of the United States of America, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the city of Erlanger. So help me God. Say, I do. Congratulations, guys. Welcome. We'll give them just a second. Thanks for coming out. Okay, so the next special presentation on the agenda is Kara Brooks with Duke Energy. If you hit the little orange button, that'll turn the mic on. Am I good? Okay.
So thank you, Mayor,
You should have that.
Councilwomen. Sorry?
Do you have that clicker up there?
Oh,
It's a little black.
yes.
There you go. Okay, sorry.
And I'm assuming pressing to the right, moving forward?
We'll try that.
Okay. I'll give it a shot. Thank you, Mayor, Councilwomen, Councilmen, Mr. Kramer. Thank you for having and inviting us tonight for me to attend and share some information on the higher gas and electric bills we've seen recently. I'm Kara Brooks. I'm the Community Relations Manager for our Northern Kentucky territory. And I do have a lot of information on these slides. I have about 9 slides. So I think the information may hit on a lot of questions that you have, but I'm hoping to answer any questions towards the end of the presentation. I've also included QR codes throughout that link to some documentation that we have online, just an easier way to, hold your phone up to the PowerPoint and get to the exact pages for the information. So feel free to use that throughout as well. So just a presentation overview. I'm going to talk about our natural gas high bills, the electric high bills, assistance programs, and then any questions. Late last year, Duke Energy was aware that natural gas commodity prices were increasing. Duke Energy does not earn a profit from these fuel costs, and we work hard to mitigate overall price increases. In Q4 of 2021, we implemented a grassroots awareness campaign to arm customers with tools to help manage bills, reduce energy, and save money. Some of those different awareness campaigns included YouTube videos talking about different items, social and traditional media. We did press releases, radio campaigns, media interviews, direct to customer communication. So if customers had an email on file, we sent them emails with information. So just another point for all of our customers to be sure to have our call center, your information, so that we can communicate that way as well. And then we had a designated web page that was created. So again, that's one of the QR codes. If you hold your phone up to it, it'll take you directly there. This was for our winter bills and just explaining kind of some of these things that were happening. The natural gas prices have more than doubled due to production level, storage levels, and export of demand. During December, we took, in addition to those grassroots efforts that I talked about previously, we sent weekly toolkits to local officials and other agencies, over 500 leaders total in Ohio and Kentucky, to share information. Again, it was winter bill increases, the weatherization tips for homes, budget billing information, scam awareness, financial assistance fact sheet. We delivered weatherization kits for residents to the Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission, the United Way, the Brighton Center, and the Salvation Army. And then we also sent and shared information on the Share the Light Fund. Again, another QR code just to that link to that page in that fund. Things that are getting grouped in with these the natural gas commodity costs. We've seen a lot of people refer to this as our gas rate case. The Public Service Commission approved the Duke Energy gas rate case in December of 2021, and rates went into effect in January 22. Average residential usage would result in a 6.27 increase monthly, or on average just a $9 increase. We filed for this rate case back in June of 2021, so this was not something that we did more like in the fall or winter timeframe. It's a very lengthy process. Some of the reasons for that rate case included multi-million-dollar investments, not operational costs. Were the main drivers for the increase. A few of those were the $190 million in a variety of capital projects across northern Kentucky. Costs to operate and maintain the system have remained nearly flat, and we've tried to improve reliability and resiliency of the natural gas distribution system across northern Kentucky. A few key investments, that the rate case involved or included were the Boone County Natural Gas Infrastructure Project. That was a 7-mile project that went from Turfway and ended on Camp Ernst Road, and was constructed in response to the load growth and enhanced system reliability. And then in addition, the 3-mile station project, and that exists in Wilder, Kentucky. And so that was a replacement of the facility, and the facility assists with pressure in the region and was helping increase pressure in the Covington and Newport regions. So again, the natural gas increase separate from the commodity costs on what customers are seeing right now. In addition, to move on to the electric bills and the higher electric bills that customers are seeing, we had our East Bend station, which is Duke's primary source for electric energy in northern Kentucky, and our plant was taken offline for required maintenance in the fall of 2021. This is typical maintenance that we do for our East Bend station, and we try to do it in the fall time because those are when temperature might be most reasonable. And that it's, when you see the spikes in the summer or the winter, we try to avoid that and make it so it's better for the customers. And they're seeing that less of a fluctuation. The East Bend station is also, it performs really efficiently, so it keeps that price cost down for our electric customers. But the cost for fuel prices, so going back to the East Bend station shutdown, as a result, we had to purchase power in the market to meet the customers' demands. This is not a typical process. Again, it's just when we have maintenance on our East Bend station. And whenever our plant has to be replaced, we must purchase power from the market. The cost for fuel purchase appear on customers' electric bills about 2 months after they are incurred. So again, since our maintenance happened around the November-December timeframe, the October-November timeframe, customers started seeing this on their November, December, January bills. So it's kind of outlined again here, just they start appearing on bills in November and December, continued through February. And Duke Energy does not earn a profit from these fuel costs and works hard again to mitigate the overall price increases. The fuel costs are not marked up. What is being referred to is the FAC, which is noted on the bill. Again, that fuel adjustment clause is the cost, the charge for fuel and purchase power from the market to supply electricity to homes and businesses, and can rise and fall significantly over a short span of time. It can be found in the billing details of your electric portion, and it simply serves as a mechanism for reflecting the cost of fuel and purchase power that is passed through to customers for a dollar-for-dollar basis with no markup. How often does this FAC change? Again, it changes monthly to reflect the fuel costs that were incurred 2 months earlier. We have not seen volatility in the fuel market prices to this degree since 2008. So this is a rarity in electric costs. We shared some additional information concerning the FAC and some questions. Again, that's that Duke Energy website. You can scan the QR code as well. So this is not unique to Duke Energy customers. This is posted in the Enquirer a couple of days ago. This talks about the co-op. So if you're an Owen Electric customer, they're also seeing increases in the FAC. But again, the third bullet point down, it also talks about they were able to moderate these costs somewhat by generating power at their coal-fired plant. And that's where, when we were doing maintenance, that's where our customers, we were buying it on the market, and with our East Bend station being down, it wasn't able to assist with some of these costs. So we do have available assistance programs for customers. We have installment plans, budget billing. I take advantage of the budget billing. I'm very particular about my budget each month, so I know exactly what my bill will be, and that's very helpful for customers. We also have local, state, and federal assistance programs, emergency funds through the Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission, the Duke Energy Share the Light, which I shared earlier. It's to help with utility bills, and then the United Way. So that is the end of my presentation.
Ms. Jasper Lucas, you have a question?
I have a few questions.
Sure.
Is this presentation, are we able to share this publicly? I mean, obviously it's shared here, but like, can I share it personally with other people?
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
know if it was proprietary or anything like that. Okay.
No, all the information on here is public.
Okay. The toolkit that you mentioned, I, as a public official, didn't get anything, so I'm not sure who those went to. I don't remember getting anything from Duke about these unbelievable increases before. Now, I personally have Duke and own electric, so, but I pay my Duke bill, so I would have expected to get something. The information that was sent to the city administrator, it was only seemed to address electric and not gas, so that was a little bit confusing. I'm glad that you addressed the gas increases here. But you mentioned the $9 average increase for gas. Who is that an average of? Is that an average of all Duke customers? Is that
Residential customers
in what area?
in Northern Kentucky.
Okay. Because the people that I'm talking to, it is all over the board, the increases they're seeing. Now, obviously, some of them are on budget billing, some of them aren't. But I'm hearing from people that are saying their bills are tripling. Mm-hmm. That's not a $9 increase. So it just seems very inconsistent from one house to the next what the increases are. And that's, I think, where most consumers are very confused by this and very angry for the right reasons. Because what you're telling us here isn't what people are seeing on their bills. And I think that's where the distrust is coming from. Like, I mean, you're telling us this, but that's not really what we're seeing. So I feel like we need more of I feel like consumers need more of an explanation. I know this is not the city's job, but, you know, you're here and people contact us and say, what am I supposed to do about this? People who've never had an issue paying their bills before are like, how is my electric and gas bill $800? Mm-hmm. I mean, I would freak out if my bill was $800. Thankfully, it wasn't. But this is all great information, but it's not what people are actually experiencing.
Yeah, and I think that the rate increase hitting at this time made it easy for people to look at the rate increase and say that's what it is, but it's the commodity cost of the gas, which has doubled, tripled, and you can see that on your bill. So we've been working internally, and we're going to be working in the next couple of months of doing a better job at talking about and sharing with customers how to read your bill. So there's information out on our website right now how to read your bill, but it doesn't break down some additional information when they're looking at those charges. What do those mean? And so we're going to be looking at that in the next couple of months of sharing information so that customers can look at their bill and they can see those charges and know exactly and tie those back to exactly what it is. So the GCR is the gas cost recovery that a customer would see. That is the rate, so they would see it for their charge on their bill, and then it would be multiplied by whatever percentage that is. That percentage rate is what has been increasing, doubling, tripling. The good news is that's going down on the electric side, the electric fuel adjustment. We should see a dramatic increase this month in March, and we're hoping that it continues to go down. Gas is going down, but and I think gas usage will likely go down this month too because of the warmer weather. So we're anticipating that customers will start seeing some relief on their bills in the coming months as those costs go back down. Again, on the electric side, since East Bend came back up, we're not buying on the market anymore. So that is going to be a lot more regulated. But you're right. It depends on every customer because every customer has different usage. So they are seeing those different rates. But if they're comparing bill to bill and they're looking at those percentage rates, they should be the same. But that's where it gets a little complex too, because people have different billing cycles. So they might, if they're comparing bill to bill, they might have to go one person's bill previously to verify another person's current bill. That percentage might be the same just on their billing cycle, but there's typically like January would have a rate, February would have a rate, March would have a rate. And so again, that's multiplied by their usage. As far as the toolkits, we did share that with the city. And the hard thing is that when we share something as a company, Duke Energy, people aren't necessarily going out to follow us on social media or look at some information that we might have that goes out even in email. I mean, a lot of times customers miss that. So sometimes we're trying to share that with nonprofits in the area, city officials to say, hey, share this on your social media pages, share this in any way you can. We try to share it on our social media pages, but if people aren't following us, it's really hard to get the word out there. So I appreciate being able to be invited today to talk through, some of the efforts that we did have go out. But like I said, it's kind of hard to get the word out there sometimes. But we'll be making an effort in the next few months and seeing where there is some misunderstanding or miscommunication and doing a better part on our end of figuring out better ways that we can share that with the community.
I appreciate that you all are trying to make the bills easier to understand, because I think it is extremely complicated.
Ms. Nicely?
Thank you for coming and explaining tonight to help us explain some of this. How can we get word out to the citizens that don't do social media, don't have the internet? Because everything I hear is you're referring to on the web, look on the internet, look on social media. There's a lot of people that don't do social media. Could they have some of these facts or anything in their bill that comes to their house individually? Because the people I've talked to, their bills have gone up in the hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jennifer said, some of them have tripled. People have vacant houses that they're rehabbing that normally would be like $50. It's $250, and all they're putting is the furnace maybe on 50, so the pipes don't freeze, and there's no water heater or anything. And how can people afford this? I mean, in the timing, right after Christmas and in January, I just think that it could have been thought out a little bit better to prepare people for budgeting and the folks that aren't even on social media that didn't have a chance to see anything you sent out.
Right. Well, we did do radio campaigns. We did TV campaigns. So there were ways, other media forums that we tried. But to your point, we did not do like a mailer. So maybe that's something that I can take back to our team to see if we can do a mailer, because my daughter's babysitter, she has an old school phone, and she does not have social media, and she does not have all of those things, so she would fall into that category as well. And so we definitely want to make sure we're reaching all of our customers, so I'll definitely take that back to our team and see what we can do. With trying to get the message out there, we were trying to get out, installment plans, budget billing, all of that stuff starting in October. So we were trying to make a concerted effort early on, because we saw that those commodity costs were increasing to the likes that we hadn't seen in a long time. And so, but to your point, again, if we're not reaching those customers who might not have those avenues to reach it, we'll take that back to the team and make sure that we're considering that moving forward.
Ms. Kyle?
Yes, you answered some of my questions. Our bill doubled. I had never gotten a bill that high in my life, and so I read the bill and did the math with the numbers that are on your bill and saw how much it went up. I also follow social media, and a lot of citizens in Erlanger and Ellesmere, they were just going wild. And the bills were just horrendous, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought my bill was terrible because it was twice what it was normally for this time of the year. But anyway, I don't know if you know this or not, but they are blaming City Council and the mayor for their Duke Energy bills. Like, wait a minute, we did not do this. We did not have anything to do with this. One of my questions is, and I haven't kept up real well with this, at one time, there were many power stations along the Ohio River. I want to know why some of those have been closed, because it seems to me if the price is going up, if we could produce our own energy, it seems that would be more cost effective, but maybe I'm missing something there. And you did answer my question about now that we have East Bend back online, that the electric prices should kind of drop a bit. So that's good. I'm glad you did that. I was afraid we were closing that one also. But, I mean, why are we closing all these other power plants?
I know there's a lot of cost that goes into maintaining those, and a lot of different environmental things that have come out in the past and moving forward make it increasingly less cost effective. On our Ohio side, we actually do not generate anything. We've sold off all of our generation on the Duke Energy Ohio side, and customers are able to purchase power from different suppliers. So on the Kentucky side, though, we generate the power here. So I think as there's different mandates and different increase and different pressure to become more renewable and renewable energies, I think will become more of what we're moving into. I know as far as Duke goes, we do have goals to be 2030 be 50% of our net carbon emissions, and by 2050 be 100% net carbon zero. And so what that looks like is increasing our renewable portfolio, but we also want to have a diverse portfolio as well. So I think some technologies don't even increase right now, but the increased use of natural gas will be a part of that. But additional solar and some other renewable options will be used as we are moving forward. But again, some of those environmental constraints make it difficult and less cost effective.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I know that they would put constraints on you, the EPA, and so that's what I thought. So is there any hope for building any new facilities in the future, or would they be totally different? I mean,
yeah, I think that they're reviewing a lot of different options right now for, what does renewable energy look like in the future? What type of power will be generated? How will it be generated? Will it be hydro? What type of options are out there and can assist with some of the transition that we're seeing. So I think everything is out on the table and being explored right now, and will be in at least the next, I would say, 5 to 10 years, really diving in deeper to that. Sure.
Ms. Elmore?
Yes, will the budget billing be affected by these last several months? That could seem to create a significant ongoing issue for customers for the next year, not just lasting a couple months. I know I used budget billing for years, and a lot of people I know do. Is that something we're going to see for a while?
Yeah, so the budget billing will be impacted by this, again, depending on a customer's usage. But what I saw, because my bill also doubled, so what I saw was that increase on my bill. So what I'm going to be looking to do is figuring out how I'm going to be setting that money aside. So when you do budget billing, there's a yearly kind of true up with your bill. And so whenever that yearly true up occurs, that's when the customers will see that. It could also be impacted by weather. If we have really nice, mild weather for the next few months and people have a lot of usage, they might see a decrease in their bill from this time frame last year, which was what budget billing would have set that standard monthly payment on. So it really depends on kind of what the weather looks like, what their customers' usage looks like. But I would anticipate customers being impacted by the budget billing in some way. There's an opportunity for that to occur. But you can see that, so like if you go into your budget billing, you can see how much it's off. So I can go in and see what that true up amount, if it called due today, I could see what that amount is on the bill.
When does that true up come due?
It depends on when the customer enrolled in the budget billing.
Okay. Ms. Reckers?
You mentioned that the East Bend station was having required maintenance. Is that an annual maintenance? Is that every couple of years?
Yeah, typically it's annual. I think I have...
Is this something that we can anticipate occurring annually where there's the spike?
Well, no, because the market prices, again, were something we haven't seen since 2008. So we weren't anticipating the market prices to spike the way that they did. And a lot of it had to do with the natural gas prices rising. Then different generations were switching to coal-fired plants and using different resources, which drove up the demand for coal, which then drove up the demand market price for that and the purchase power. So it was kind of like a perfect storm, if you will, and how it all happened. We have maintenance yearly, typically, sometimes a couple times a year. So this isn't something we've experienced in the past few years when we've had these maintenance times and the station has been out, not to this sizable increase and not on the gas and electric side at the same time.
Is there more maintenance this year on that facility?
I believe there's an anticipated time. I'll have to find out the exact date, but they typically do it in the fall time.
Are there any other questions on council here? Okay.
Oh, am I allowed? Okay. I don't know the best answer to that. If she asked if there was a best month to enroll in budget billing, and I'm not exactly sure. I do know that our customer billing system is going through a transition, and so they're going to be putting a pause on people enrolling in budget billing, I think towards the end of this mid-month, towards the end of this month. So if you're considering doing budget billing, I would give the call center a call and get that transitioned over. I think they're pausing it just for a short time frame until the whole system transitions over, and then they'll start it back up. But I don't know the best answer to your question, but I'm happy to take that back to the team, and I can give you my business card.
I just had a quick comment and question. I know you used to have been in your house for like a certain period of time before you could even enroll in budget billing. Because I just pulled up my Duke bill, and it looks like I enrolled a year ago, January, because I would have been in my house whatever the amount of time was that you had to be in. I think it used to be a year. So I don't know if that's still the case or not, but you know, if you haven't been paying your bill for a long time, budget billing may not even be an option.
Yeah, and the installment plans are another option that customers can take advantage of if they don't want to do budget billing or they haven't. I don't know how long that is, but I can definitely take that back to our team, and I can share that with Mr. Kramer. Would that work? Okay, I can take that back and see if there's an amount of time that a customer has to be in there and having service from that to enroll.
Thank you so much, Kara.
Thank
I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Kara.
having me.
Just so all council know, I did send you the presentation before the meeting tonight.
All right. Next special presentation is Peter Glenn with the Parks Master Planning presentation.
Is that what you wanted up, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's it. All right. Well, this is a great opportunity. Perhaps representing the Parks Task Force, we're here to present some of our master plans. We're going to start off tonight just with one master plan, which is the Locust Street Park. This one's one of my favorites. I've had the opportunity to help master plan 16 or 17 parks in Northern Kentucky, and I do believe that this is kind of my favorite one. Everybody's got a copy of that on their desk, along with the following sheets, which is the estimate, the engineer's estimate for all the improvements. This was done in conjunction with VOX and VOX and their staff. They've done an absolutely fantastic job working with the city on this, and it's been a great experience. There's a lot of things that we've incorporated from other park master plans, the Silver Lake and especially the Rainbow, the Cahill Commons Park. Some of the ideas made its way into this one, and it's really a super unique opportunity to improve this park. What you see, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through the elements. Which is the parallel parking. So what we're trying to do, this is a neighborhood park, so parking is not a primary concern. You know, we want people walking to this park. But still, with that being said, a few parking spots on the street would be nice. So we've done on Locust and on Center Street, we've done some pull-off parallel parking. And that'll also help Kim walking with some of her programming when she brings maybe an event here that has, you know, ice cream truck or something like that. And we need to park it on the street, and we're getting it out of traffic and making it safe for all the park users. So we got some parking there. B is horse fencing. So again, we're going to introduce our branding with our black four-board horse fencing. And you can see that's pretty much around the whole perimeter of the park. Which is going to be nice and keep it safe for everybody using the park on each side since it's so close to the streets. And again, in between the open play field and the playground, we're going to have some section of fencing there as well. C would be the food truck parking, which is we've made a ramp to where we can come up off the street, and if the weather and the ground permits it, we'd like to be able to pull larger vehicles up in the lawn there and maybe have an event where we're using food trucks or something like that and having it in the park. D, just as off of that to the right of the food trucks, it's just kind of an open field. Again, you know, trying to keep as much open space as we can in the park. That seems to be a primary need of most of our parks. We're going to have a pickleball and half-court basketball court is one of the elements that I am most excited about. So the basketball court is currently a full court, kind of a small court, and very underutilized. So what we've been trying to do in other parks and their master plans is turning these full court basketball courts into half court, making it more of a less competitive type environment and making it more of a neighborhood park shoot around type of court. And this one provides us enough space to do that and add a pickleball court to the existing space, which I think is fantastic. And you've had people standing at this podium in the last 3-4 months requesting more of that. And I just think that would be a great addition to this park and to the city as a whole and this area of our city. So we're going to have right there by E, which is the pickleball court, out towards the street and down a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. It's just going to be an area for a portalet. So that way we have easy access both from the park and from the street for servicing that. Bike racks, of course. We do have a placeholder for a future unisex bathroom. Not that we intend on building a bathroom, but I did want to carve out a space for a future thought process if it was ever to be necessary for a very small bathroom. And that's H, right in the middle of the park. And then I, which would be a park grade ping pong table, and those seem to be catching on right now, concrete type of ping pong table. And J would be concrete cornhole boards, which was kind of a new invention here in the last 15 years. But those are catching on as well, very much so. The days of horseshoes are over and cornhole board is here. K would be a pavilion, appropriately sized for this size of park and with benches, and we'll have grills and things like that for that. And up towards the north, you would have 2 playgrounds, the larger one for with swings and play equipment for 5 to 12-year-old children. And then up to the left would be a smaller playground for the younger kids, 2 to 5. The playground that you see, the L, would be very reminiscent of what we did just recently this past summer at Misty Creek. So it'll be the same theme, same type of sidewalk border, same mulch, and same seat wall holding up the hillside. So we're into the grade a little bit there, and we can create a seat wall for people to sit on, pretty much exactly like what we did at Misty Creek, and that's quite exciting, I think. And then to the far right would just be an open play field. We've kind of got it kind of sectioned off as a little bit of a soccer field, just to kind of give everybody, the visual representation that is, the size of it and the nicety of the play field. So that's pretty much it from a master standpoint. Does anybody have any questions on the overall concept plan of that? Yes, Steve.
What's the timeline on this?
There is no real timeline on it. So what we're doing is we're trying to complete master plans on a yearly basis. We have 12 parks, so we're trying to get an idea of what our needs are, so that way we can start long-range planning improvements. Staff and I have been working on our next 3-year budget, and we have put this out in year 3. But that is far from being approved. My boss is not aware of that. So, again, maybe I'm speaking out of turn or anything. But but still, it's just our thought process. And and then it's been before the task force tonight. We discussed it, and so it's in the future. But when it really will be tied down, will we be able to get to it? It's a little uncertain.
I'm only asking because I know that FC Cincinnati has a goal before 2024 to put, I think, 10 mini football fields in throughout Cincinnati and the greater Cincinnati area. And this may be a perfect place to kind of partner with them and see if we can't get that done here.
Yeah, I don't know how small a mini football field might be. Maybe this might qualify. Okay, yeah, that would be ideal.
Football with a U, not gridiron. Never mind.
Probably so. Okay, the next slide. Do you have that? Okay, well, we don't really need it. Your next sheet of paper, 2 sheets of paper, is the engineer's estimate for this project. And the reason I included it, I certainly don't plan on going through it line by line, which everybody would much appreciate me skipping that. But the reason I put this, I want to talk about it real briefly, is that these are the costs. And as we do our future planning, this is what we draw our planning costs off of. So as we're finishing these master plans like Silver Lake and Cahill Commons, Stetter and Depot and so on and so forth, we're gathering all this information, and we're able to now go in and, based on how much money that we're afforded each year, start plucking away at some of these elements as we deem necessary and appropriate, in trying to do it in a staged approach, phased and staged approach. And if you could just scroll down to the total cost. So, yeah, right there. So all the amenities you see with engineering and a 10% contingency total just under $700,000. So, whereas it doesn't look like a lot, the costs are substantial, and it's a substantial commitment when you're talking pavilions and restroom, even though it's a small, very, very small restroom, and playground and so on and so forth. So I think I think that kind of even brings more value to what we were able to accomplish over at Misty Creek with our in-house efforts and playground, because we did, a good majority of what's on that plan at Misty Creek for virtually very little cost. So anyway, that's it. Well, what the Parks Task Force intention is to maybe once every month, every other month, maybe quickly go over the latest and greatest of the park plans. So we've already brought Cahill Commons to everybody, and it's been a while, and if anybody has any questions on that, feel free to contact me, and I can kind of go over that park again with you. We've gone over, we've completed Silver Lake and kind of gone over those plans, and now Locust, and then, the next park will be Stetter, and then Depot and Misty Creek. So stay tuned throughout the rest of the year as we kind of bring that in at a certain interval. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Hey, Peter, can you take a look at the paper in the back on that table, please? Oh. Oh, okay. No, it's something different. Thank you. Okay, Linda Dietz, if you wouldn't mind stating your name. Hit the orange button.
Oh, this one. I should know how to do this, right?
It's okay.
So I sent an email today to Chief Whitaker, and I wanted to read a little bit of it out here on council so we can hear what I wrote, as well as the people watching from home. This winter, I'm so glad, by the way, spring has started. But this winter, during the ice storm in February, I found myself in a very awkward and ultimately a dangerous position. I went outside to check the conditions on Saturday, February 5th, after the ice storm had been with us for the previous 2 days, and I found snow on the ice, which made it walkable in my winter boots and down 3 steps at the front of my house. When I returned from my errands, I decided to go in through my back door because it's closer to the garage. I just assumed there would be snow on top of the ice as well on those steps, but I was wrong. So as I stepped on the ice, I slid down the ice. Only 5 steps, but down my back steps. So here I was sitting at the bottom of my basement steps, staring at a cement wall, looking at the other side of my little winter ski slope, and I thought my arm had been hurt, and I thought I could try to get up, but if I get up, I could fall again and make things worse. And even if I get up, how am I going to get out of here? Because I was in an ice pit, which I find out that was part of Home Alone. That was a trick in Home Alone, somebody said. So because I had my purse, I had my cell phone, and so then I called 911. And this was actually the first time I've ever called 911 for myself. So Captain Justin Brinkman, it's instead of my mom, I'm sorry. Captain Justin Brinkman arrived with his crew. I think it's the blue crew. I think they're on today. And they wasted no time in chipping away the ice on my steps to reach me, and then assisted me in standing up using the shovel as a sort of crutch or leverage to stand up. And they're smart thinking of them to do so, and I wouldn't have expected anything less of them. Since the safest and quickest way to get me inside was through the basement door, they also chipped the ice away from the door so we could open it. As it turns out, the screen door was frozen shut from the ice, so even if I could have stood up, I could not have gone into the basement door. So I really was stuck. So even though they're not here, but they're on duty tonight, which is good that they're working tonight. I think I saw the fire engine leave when I came here. I want to thank each of them for helping me get out of what could have ended up as a very dangerous situation. It was cold outside and no one could see or hear me in the back stairwell. And the longer I would have sat there on the ice, figuring out what to do, the more cold, scared, upset, and exhausted I would have become. But I didn't need to worry. I knew help was only a phone call and less than a mile away. So I want to thank Captain Justin Brinkman, firefighter medic Whitney Williams Farrell, firefighter medic Jacob Schaefer, and firefighter EMT Tom Herman for coming to my rescue. I remember a phrase I heard, that they call firefighters, EMTs, all first responders, heroes without capes for a very good reason, and I experienced that in February. So my hats are off to them, and now I'm hoping to go over and crash the party over at the firehouse, so we'll see what happens there. But I just wanted to read that so everybody could hear that.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you. The question I asked earlier, I already know the answer to if you'd like to hear it about the budget billing. It's up to you guys.
She answered the question.
No, she didn't know which was the best month to start it. That was the question.
Okay.
So with budget billing, my family was on for a very long time, and I still am. Because the 12th month, unless they're going to change things with the new transition, Because in the 12th month, they want you to be zeroed out. If you start your budget billing in the highest amount of months, the winter months or the summer months, you end up paying ahead of what you owe. So you pay more than you actually owe. In order to the 12 months, you get to zero. If you start it in the spring or the fall, you pay less than you owe. So therefore, it's better to start it in the spring or the fall. I would think ideally they want to even that out for all 12 months, but it is better to start it in the spring, fall. We always did it in the winter. At one point, CG&E suggested us to switch it to spring or fall, and we did. But those are the better months to start it, just so if anybody's thinking about enrolling in it, they can take advantage of that. Thank you.
I guess just to kind of add to that, though, you're going to true up at any point anyways. So in reality, you're either paying it on the front end or you're paying it after.
Right. But when you
So-
pay on the front end, your rates are higher. You're paying more per month. You actually pay a higher amount than you give a higher budget billing amount if you're paying in the starting in the winter or the summer. You have a higher budget billing amount. Whereas in the spring and fall, you don't use it as much, so there's more catch-up time. It does work that way. So that's why we switched ours, because it was kind of ridiculous. We were paying so far ahead. It's like, we don't even owe this much. Why do we have to pay ahead? And then they switched just to the spring or the fall. So it's something to check out if you're on budget billing, to notice that and see when your even billing month is finished out, because it does make a difference, at least right now, unless they're going to change that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please do that.
All right, there's no other comments from the public. I just want to take the opportunity to welcome the firefighters, our new guys. I'm sorry that their uniforms aren't here. That was a bummer, but I'm sure they'll be here very soon. Mr. Kramer?
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a very busy month with budgeting, but I've got nothing significant to report unless there's any questions for me from council. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gatlin?
I have nothing to report tonight, Mayor.
Do any department heads have reports for this evening? Okay. Are there any task force reports? Ms. Skidmore?
I have one on Kenton County Alliance. It's real short. I'll just read it. It says, the attendance today was 30, which was a good number. The Kenton County Alliance meeting started at noon and lasted a full hour. Chick-fil-A was served for lunch. The topic was military families and coping. Everyone received a tape measure so that we could measure our progress. The Purple Star program is school-based. It deals with building resiliency for the Kentucky military. The military youth report a high rate of peer victimization, verbal bullying, physical attack. The Department of Defense made a statement that it's like the military brats are always the new kid on the block. Behavioral health, higher rates of problems, more challenges, psychological distress, higher rate of drug use, self-harm, suicide plan, suicide attempts, higher rate of peer victimization, verbal bullying, physical attacks. We also discussed reinstating the program Sticker Shock, and that was pretty much agreed on because it is a success. Also, the bowling alley in Erlanger is offering bowling specials, limits 2 games per day. It's strikes and spares. Kids bowl free May until December. The only thing they have to do is pay $4.25 for their shoe rental. And you have to sign up to get the code, and the phone number, I believe this is correct. I talked to Kim, so Kim Wilking's aware of this going on also. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the number that I have was 859-727-2000. And I think it's just a good thing for the kids to be able to do something like that and keep them off the street and keep them occupied. End of report.
Okay, thank you. Any other task force reports? Okay. All righty.
Mayor, I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Mr.
okay.
Nipper?
I had a question. Formation of new task force. I think I had said I was not here last council meeting, but the prior meeting. I had mentioned forming a new task force. Would that be something we discussed at this meeting, or?
I would say that it was a caucus discussion, and we can add it to the caucus meeting
Okay.
for March.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep, works
Okay.
for me.
Awesome.
I think we already did that. Yeah, we already did that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Mr.
My bad.
Nipper, if you wouldn't mind, before the caucus meeting, if you could just give me a call so we can kind of talk a little bit about that, just so I can kind of help out maybe for that presentation.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any others? Okay. All right, Ms. Hoffman, are there any bids tonight?
No, ma'am.
All right. And does anybody have any unfinished business? How about new business? All right.
No, I have something, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion that we get rid of the plexiglass goldfish.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to remove the plexiglass. We have a second. Any
Can we do it like
discussion?
right now?
I mean, Gary Meyer
Can I
tried to do it
clarify my
last week,
motion?
actually, and
Did he
couldn't,
really?
so.
Yep, please don't touch the plexiglass. We'll have it removed so it can be used again in the future. It's not disposable.
Oh, don't talk about us using it in the future, Matthew. We're done. Considering it's like roasting hot in here, this is making it so much worse. Sorry, guys. All right. I guess any other discussion on that matter? Because there's a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Steve Doan, you got it. All right, legislation.
First, we have an ordinance amending ordinances 2350 and Section 37 of the Erlanger Code of Ordinances, establishing an economic incentive for the development of jobs and employment in the city and the qualifications for that incentive. So this is an amendment to the EDGE incentive. It creates a little bit of a broadening of that EDGE incentive, provides some opportunities for additional EDGE incentives for businesses with gross annual wages exceeding $20 million. Also allows some different reasons to get the EDGE incentive, but I think the biggest thing is probably under Section E, which provides a little bit more discretion for the Economic Development Director in providing that EDGE incentive. This is a second reading.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as presented? Mrs. Kyle, Mrs. Elmore. Okay. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hermes,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cahill,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Skidmore, Ms. Kyle,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jasper Lucas,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Nipper,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Doan,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Nicely,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Reckers,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Elmore, Mr. Skidmore.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, motion carried. Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Emmy. You did a great job finding some enhancements to this awesome ordinance. So thank you for the work you did.
All right, next we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger creating a Commonwealth Area Professional District Capital Improvement Cap Incentive and Grant. This is for qualified businesses located in the City of Erlanger in the residential to office conversion ROC zone and the mixed use zone. Any eligible business, the eligibility for the businesses is listed under Section 1. And then the incentive is businesses may request a reimbursement of up to 50% of capital improvement expenses up to $40,000, which is a $20,000 maximum reimbursement for conversion of a structure from residential to commercial or for construction of a new commercial building. And those expenses are for visible exterior improvements. There's also a provision for fixed interior improvements such as removal or replacement of walls, flooring, cabinets, bathroom, and break room fixtures are also eligible. The rest of the requirements are identified in Section 3.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as read? Ms. Reckers, Ms. Jasper Lucas, any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Skidmore? Ms. Elmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Reckers?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Nicely?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Doan?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Nipper?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kyle?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Skidmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hermes?
Yes, ma'am.
And just another shout out, this was a product of the Small Business Task Force. Kudos, guys. It was really awesome kind of putting this together and understanding how we could make an impact with Commonwealth. So great job. Thank you.
All right, next we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, amending Erlanger ordinance numbers 2522 and 2530, and the budget adopted thereby for the City of Erlanger for the fiscal year beginning on July 1, 2021, and ending on June 30th, 2022. You can see the items that have been struck through are what is changing or what is being amended. This is a first reading.
Okay, I ask that the city clerk note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
Next, we have an ordinance amending the Erlanger zoning ordinance, making any necessary revisions to definitions and height and area standards related to family child care homes for compliance with Senate Bill 148 and KRS 199. This came through the Kenton County Planning Commission. This was recommended by the Kenton County Planning Commission as well as PDS staff, and it's a bit of a housekeeping issue which allows our zoning code to become compliant with the new definitions and height and area standards related to family child care homes.
Okay, Ms. Hoffman, if you could note in the minutes the reading of this ordinance.
Next, we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, repealing in the entirety Chapter 110 related to occupational licenses and creating an entirely new chapter for occupational licenses. This was a very, very robust project spearheaded by both Ms. Randall and Mr. Kramer, and it completely overhauls the existing occupational license process. It does not change the tax rates. It does not change anything related to the amount of taxes that will be collected. It merely allows a few more tools for the enforcement of those occupational licenses and for the revocation and suspension of any occupational licenses.
Okay, Ms. Hoffman, if you can note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance. Number 6 has been already struck from the agenda. So are there any announcements for this evening? All right. Do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Ms. Nicely, Mr. Nipper. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.